Earlier today, a development occurred that countless American citizens have been expecting for multiple months. The discussion regarding direct financial relief distributions just became considerably more earnest and considerably more complicated, because at this time there are two clearly separate plans currently under consideration. One coming from the executive administration, one coming from the legislative body, and the variation between them could represent thousands of dollars based on your personal conditions and your particular situation. Now, specific details I'm about to present could directly impact your financial circumstances. Other sections are still progressing their way through the legislature. But today we're going to analyze exactly what's being presented, what the actual possibilities are, and what you should truly be thinking about right now while all of this continues to evolve. So, let's start with what appeared this week, because this is the one everyone's been inquiring about. There has been considerable media attention recently indicating that the current government is distributing checks in August 2026. And I want to be completely honest with you because there is significant uncertainty out there and insufficient clarity. Here's what we actually understand. The government has been participating in conversations about targeted financial relief, particularly regarding working families and lower-income households who are still experiencing the impacts of increasing expenses. Those conversations are genuine. The desire to act before the midterm elections is genuine. And the political pressure within certain areas of the government is also genuine. But here is what I need you to comprehend. As of right now, there is no confirmed legislation, there is no verified payment date, and there is no finalized recipient list. What exists is a suggestion, a structure, a political indication that some form of relief could potentially be arriving. And in the legislature, there is a very, very extended journey between could potentially be arriving and a check appearing in your mailbox. Now, does that mean you should ignore it? Absolutely not. Because the last time people ignored early relief indicators, they were scrambling to update their banking details at the very last moment, and their payments ended up delayed by weeks. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to access your tax service account at irs.gov and confirm that your direct deposit details are current. Make sure your address on file is accurate, because if something does advance quickly in August, and it could, the people who are ready are the ones who receive payment first. That's step one, and I'll return to what else you should be doing toward the end, because while the government proposal has been receiving all the attention, there is another proposal progressing its way through the legislature that I believe deserves significantly more attention than it is currently receiving. A prominent senator, along with a coalition of progressive lawmakers, has presented a plan for a $3,000 direct payment. And unlike some of the wider relief measures we've observed in recent years, this one has a very particular focus. This isn't a check for everyone. This is a check designed for Americans over 60, Americans on fixed incomes, Social Security recipients, and households at or below certain income thresholds. Now, I want you to understand that again, because if you're watching this channel, there is a very strong possibility this proposal was created with you specifically in mind. The reasoning these lawmakers and their supporters are presenting is straightforward. Increasing costs have not been favorable to people living on fixed incomes. The cost of living adjustments that Social Security recipients received over the past couple of years helped somewhat, but they didn't fully close the gap. Groceries are still more expensive. Medications are still more expensive. Energy bills are still more expensive. And a $3,000 payment, they argue, is the most direct and efficient method to deliver real relief into the hands of the people who need it most. Now, is this bill going to pass in its current form? That is the honest question, and the honest answer is it remains unclear. The proposal has support on the left, but it faces serious opposition from fiscally conservative members who are worried about national debt, and from centrists who prefer any payment to be more widely available rather than narrowly targeted. There's also the matter of how it gets funded, which is consistently the challenge in the legislature. But here's why I'm not dismissing it. Over the past year, we have observed proposals that everyone considered unrealistic suddenly gained significant traction when public pressure increased. We have observed emergency legislation advance within weeks when lawmakers felt strong pressure from their constituents. And right now, heading into a midterm environment, the political motivation to deliver something tangible to voters, especially older voters, especially fixed-income voters, is greater than it has been in years. So, I am watching this one carefully, and you should be too. Here's what I believe most people are overlooking in the discussion regarding all of this. The government proposal and the legislative proposal are not as different as the media tends to portray them. Both acknowledge that a significant portion of the American population continues to struggle financially. Both are constructed around the concept that direct payments are faster and more efficient than tax adjustments or policy changes that require years to work their way through the broader economy. And both, and this is the part that truly matters, are being driven by the same underlying political reality. People are experiencing hardship, and elected officials on both sides of the aisle recognize it. Now, the disagreement is about who receives relief, how much they receive, and how it gets funded. Those are not minor disagreements. Those are the disagreements that can hold legislation up in committee for months at a time. But the fundamental point, the recognition that something must be done, that is more widely shared than it appears from the outside. And in my experience, watching these situations develop over time, the moment both sides agree that something must be done, it frequently does eventually happen. Now, I want to share something I discovered in the supporting documents for both of these proposals that I haven't seen covered anywhere else, because both plans in their current form include income verification procedures and potential recapture provisions. What that means is this. If a payment is distributed and it's later determined that you received more than you were eligible for based on your income, your filing status, or your household composition, there is language in both frameworks that would permit the government to recover that money. Now, we have seen this happen before. Following the 2021 relief payments, thousands of Americans received notices indicating they owed money back because their income circumstances had changed between tax years. I do not want that happening to you. So, here is what I need you to do right now before any of this moves forward. If your income changed significantly in 2025 compared to 2024, if you left the workforce, if you reduced your working hours, if your household situation changed, ensure your most recent tax return has been filed and is accurate. Because whatever year the tax service uses to evaluate your eligibility, you want that return to reflect your actual current circumstances. And if you have not yet filed your 2025 return, that needs to become a priority, not merely because of relief payments, because it affects everything. Your eligibility for enhanced credits, your healthcare cost estimates, your insurance marketplace benefits, and yes, potentially your eligibility for any direct payment that comes through. This is the detail that rarely receives media coverage, but this is the detail that truly protects you. Here is the anticipated timeline as I currently understand it. The August window that has been referenced for the current government's proposal is narrow. Legislation would need to advance through both chambers within the next several weeks for payments to reasonably be distributed before September. That is entirely possible, but it would require a level of legislative efficiency that we rarely witness. The legislative proposal operates on a longer timeline. It's more of an initiative heading into the autumn legislative calendar, something that may gain momentum as we approach the end of the year, particularly if economic data continues to reflect hardship among middle and lower income households. The most realistic outcome, and I want to be straightforward with you about this, is that some version of targeted relief becomes law before the end of 2026, probably not as generous as $3,000, probably not as broad as some earlier proposals, but something meaningful for real people before the year concludes. And the people who will benefit most are the ones paying close attention right now, the ones who have their information updated, the ones who have their returns filed, the ones who aren't scrambling at the very last moment. Because I don't want to simply deliver headlines. I want to give you something actionable First, access the tax service website and confirm your direct deposit details are on file. This takes 10 minutes and it could save you weeks of waiting. Second, if you haven't filed your 2025 tax return, complete that now. Your eligibility for any payment will likely be determined by your most recent available return. Third, if your income comes primarily from retirement benefits, ensure your records contain your current address and payment method as well. Some proposals include mechanisms to transmit payments through the system for recipients who don't typically engage with the tax service. Fourth, be very cautious of anything claiming a check is currently being sent out. It isn't, not yet. And any website asking you to claim your payment or enter your personal information to reserve your check is a scam. The actual payments when they arrive will not require you to take any additional steps if your information is already on file. As always, I am going to continue watching these proposals so that you don't have to review legislative documents and government statements yourself. The moment something is confirmed, a vote, an approval, a payment schedule, you will hear about it through this channel first. Please share this with someone you know who has been wondering about relief assistance because the misinformation circulating right now is genuinely concerning, and the best thing you can do for the people you care about is make sure they're receiving accurate information. I'll be back very soon, and I'll see you